Hello, hello. This is Yuri of Moving Sales Professionals and Let's Talk Moving podcast. And with me today, I have Landon Rhodes with 310 Marketing Co., taking care of marketing for the moving industry. How you doing today, Landon?
I'm doing great. How about you, Yuri?
Good, good, good. Long couple of days. Construction, it can take things out of you. But
Yeah.
anyway, so tell me, Landon, so you're doing marketing. You're one of your main focuses, if not the main focus, is moving industry and moving companies. So tell me why the moving industry and what is it that you see there that maybe you don't see other places?
Yeah, what a great question. So I've been in the kind of content and the paid advertising space for over 10 years and started my first agency and work with lots of different industrial businesses. Started back in like 2016. Been working in like a blue collar space literally my entire life. So I grew up on a farm working with my hands. My mom and dad still farm to this day. And so no stranger to like hard work and working, 10, 15-hour days. Like it's very normal where I grew up. And so I've always had an affinity and a respect for any sort of like blue collar work whatsoever, whether it's construction, moving, like anything where it's like heavy like manual labor. That's just like what I grew up with. And so I would say that that seed was planted very young of having like a deep respect for the industry as a whole of just like blue collar work. But more recently, it's tough to like share this full story without getting a little bit more of my backstory. So I hope this is cool. But
Sure, yeah, of course.
I built my first agency up since 2016. Ended up selling it in the middle of pretty challenging time of my life. So built that from 2016 to roughly 2023. And then in the middle of 2023, I was actually diagnosed with a pretty crazy form of blood cancer.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so had 6 months of had like a 4-inch tumor growing on my neck and had pretty much like this insane ride of like doctors misdiagnosing me and not really sure what's going on. So I'm pressing in closer and closer to God and just like studying the word and figuring this whole healing thing out. And so for 6 months, I like ditched all like social media, TV, whatever, and just studied the word and like, what does God say about healing? And because I was just trying to get answers because I literally had like a 3 to 4 inch tumor growing right here on my neck. It was insane. And if you guys check my Instagram out, you can actually you can see it's pretty wild. And so all this time, I'm running my agency. I'm also running a marketing consultancy where I actually coach marketing agencies all across the United States. I've worked with over 230 clients now. So I'm running the consultancy, I'm running this agency, and the first one was actually called Grindstone because again, manual hard work that just came supernaturally to us.
Right. And
So
unlike other guys that may talk about something like this, Landon is actually somebody that's out of Nebraska and not in New York City.
right.
So,
Yeah, farming, all this stuff is like in my blood in the Midwest. So
and now for a word from our sponsors. If you're a moving business owner, you may have already heard of Moversville, an email marketing service that helps moving companies increase, repeat, and referral business. But have you heard of Moversville Connect? Moversville Connect is an incredible resource for all things moving. They feature an array of vendors and services that cater specifically to the moving industry. You can find companies that provide moving software, moving sales services, marketing services, moving equipment providers, and much, much more. Visit moversville.com today to learn more.
basically, I'm in, I'm going through this process. Tumor starts growing on my neck, and the doctor's like, between the chemotherapy and the blood cancer, like, you're never going to have kids. And like, you're basically like, you need to start chemotherapy tomorrow. And if you don't, like, we don't know what's going to happen to you. You're stage one going on stage four. You have two types of blood cancer, one that likes to spread all over your body, and the other one multiplies like crazy. And I had a 90% proliferation rate, which means that the tumors would double in size every 20 days.
Oh,
And
wow.
so this entire process, I'm trying to run two companies, like just keeping my life together. I'm newly married at the time, and just trying to like keep my life together, right? And that's in our first agency with the consultancy that I still run today as well. And so finally, I just made a decision. I'm like, I'm going to sell this agency to my sister. Like, I can't do this anymore. It was getting to the point to where it was getting up to, I don't know, like 70K a month, and it was fine. But like I knew that like if I was going to do something excellently, I couldn't do this and try and survive blood cancer. So,
Right, sure.
so I sell the agency to my sister mid chemotherapy, and I made a decision to go in on the consultancy. And so I'm coaching these videographers and marketing agencies all across the United States, and I'm in chemotherapy. I'm ended up deciding to pursue chemotherapy after kind of feeling peace about it. And then out of nowhere, like I just like finally I get at the end of this chemotherapy thing, and 6 months later, I'm in 100% molecular remission. So I'm perfectly like healthy and whole. But I literally underwent some of the most like intense chemotherapy a person can take on. And God protected me through the literally the entire thing. So like I was taking sales calls, I was coaching people the entire time. And I promise I'll wrap this back into moving in a
Well,
second.
no,
But
you're a very
um,
lucky person because I have an uncle that I lost to cancer that
yeah.
basically burned in less probably 6 to 8 months. So
Yeah. Yeah,
age four.
it's a serious thing. And so when you hear stuff like that, people are just like, how the heck do you keep going? How do you keep your business going? How do you do any of this stuff? And honestly, just like faith in Jesus was the only thing that got me through it. And so I go through and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna make it through this thing. Like I'm gonna be okay. So I'm working out the entire time. Like I literally brought a treadmill in with me into chemotherapy because I was literally just like protected through this whole thing. I get on the other side of it. And now I'm running my consultancy. So I'm coaching videographers and helping them scale multi 6 and 7 figure video and marketing agencies. That's like, I also have a business doing that. And so throughout this entire time, I'm like, man, like I really like want to go back into the agency world because I love it so much. Like I love serving local service companies.
Sure.
And so anyway, so start a business with my buddy Zach. We're looking on like what would be a great industry to partner with. And out of nowhere, my buddy Jaron with 10 Men Movers like really needed some help to scale up his company and wanted to go to the next level. Anyway, so we create some content for him. We'd run all of his meta marketing. We take over his website. We take over his local search and SEO, and the thing absolutely explodes. We're talking like 427 grand in tracked revenue inside of 4 months time, and it
Nice.
just absolutely exploded. And it was only from a very abysmal amount of advertising spend.
Does your company need more creative marketing and ad campaigns to improve traffic and organic leads? Well, Moving Sales Professionals has a solution for you. We have partnered with social media marketing agency that has over 300 million views on their ads and videos across social media, and they have generated over $35 million for their clients over the last 10 years alone. Their services include content creation, social media ads, pay-per-click campaigns, website and funnel development, Google Ads, email marketing campaigns, lead generation, and much, much more. For limited time only, they have discounted rates for their services. Sign up for a free consultation call with us via our Calendly link on our website or below this video.
We're talking serious returns. And so I see this, and I love this quote from Alex Hormozy. He says, "When money comes easy, I go hard. When money comes hard, I go easy." Like I like take a step back. And this to me was just like a really clear sign that we had an impact for somebody in this industry. And so I'm like, well, what are the chances we can do this again? And literally, we just been taking on more and more and more of these clients and serving them, and it's been so fun. And so we've got some crazy opportunities. I literally think, like, I'm not exaggerating this. I literally think we're going to sign 2 to 3 more clients in the moving industry just today. And it's just been a huge blessing. So now we're focusing in on this and we're really like developing our expertise deeper and, just persevering in the inside of this industry. And it's been so fun. So we basically got like really good results quickly. And we decided, like, let's just go all in on these people in this industry and serve them however we can.
Oh, that's great. But I can tell you, as somebody that's been in the industry for over 20 years, and somebody that's obviously in social, on top of having the call center for the movers, having the social media space, it's definitely a long way. And the thing is this: whether you're a new moving company owner or you've been in the industry for a long time, strategies are changing, things are changing, and social media and marketing and all that, it's definitely a new frontier. You can't use the yellow pages anymore. Lead providers stink. It's just
Yeah.
like overall, it's you need to do what you can to create organic content. You need to do what you can to drive people to your company organically, whether it's to your website or otherwise. And you got to do something that's different and unique versus your competitors. So if you're doing it and the other ones aren't, you're already a step or two ahead, and that's the problem. And I mean, and that's what a lot of I have companies that have been in business for a long time, and they find themselves behind. And the reason they're finding themselves behind is because they're not embracing the market, and the market right now is social media. Whether you're in US or UK or Canada,
Mhm.
it's definitely the way to go, and it's definitely the focus that you want to take because that's what's going to get you there. Like I said, or you can beat organic. You can't beat leads that are coming to you every single day. You can't do
No.
that. So everything is coming. Sorry if you guys might hear some construction guys in the background. I'm getting this house fixed, but regardless, there's just a lot going on, and going to marketing and doing things like that is extremely important.
Yeah. And man, I think there's something so special, truly like powerful when you specialize too in a specific thing and anything in business. Like, so for me, as a coach and a consultant, I specialized in helping like video agencies like scale up their companies. And then we specialized our agency, like the agency that I actually run with my business partner, Zach, we specifically decided to work with moving companies. And that does a lot of different things for you. Like you start getting your learning accelerates. It's just like when you guys are like, any of your listeners right now, when you're on a truck and you've moved a safe for the, up a staircase or down a staircase 50 times, all the wrong ways to move a safe, and the stakes are very high, the risk is there, and how many guys you need to have, how many like everything is all mapped in your brain because of pattern recognition. And so that's one of the things I'm most excited about in serving like these clientele that we're in now is like we truly have like real pattern recognition, because I've literally done this for 10 years and we've done lots of different like broad industries, but nothing hits quite like having a specific focus and saying, this is all I do, and I'm going to become the master at this one thing.
Right. And that's definitely right up my alley too, because I can tell you I've done a lot of different things, but
Yeah.
and a lot of people have asked me over the years about going in with them or opening up my own moving company, and frankly, I don't want to do that. I'm very good at what I do. I know the industry well from all different sides of it. Haven't been on the truck, haven't, let the crews out at 5 in the morning, but also being in the sales space, right? Also booking
Mhm.
the jobs, also dealing with the customers, also uh, doing that side of it. But I think I agree with that, being able to focus specifically on sales and be able to focus specifically on sales for the moving industry. That is all I do and the only thing I do. So it's absolutely, you want to be great at one or two things. And you don't want to be mediocre at a lot of things. You want to be
Mhm.
good at something, like really good at something where somebody can say, okay, this guy's really the top.
Yeah. I mean, look at Mark Zuckerberg, right? People always say that you need
Sure.
7 streams of income to become a millionaire, or millionaires have 7 streams of income, but it's never them actually taping together 7 things that make them a billionaire, 100 millionaire, or a billionaire. It's one thing fully executed on all the way through. And then basically from that place, once you get that thing automated, scaling, and it's got predictable acquisition channels that are actually driving growth without you, the owner, having to like manually push down the gas pedal, that's where you can actually divert a little bit of your attention towards some of these things that can be ancillary, cash flowing opportunities. But I feel like so many people, when they're first getting started, they're like, we do moving, we do junk, we do, and nothing wrong with those two things. I actually think they
Cleaning.
pair, yeah, cleaning. And they try and tack on all these services before they've gotten one thing to a million.
Right.
But look at the largest roofing company, in the United States. Look at some of the largest custom home builders. They do one thing. Like they do one thing really, really well. And instead of having to spend all their time trying to reinvent new systems and processes, they take all of that energy collectively in the organization and they say, how can we specifically put on a roof faster? How can we specifically move this person more efficiently? How can we specifically improve customer experience upon arrival and then on leaving? Like it's those little tiny levers that they're pulling. I'm talking like the 7, 8, and 9 figure players. They're working on those tiny little dials because they know that if they make a tiny change there, it's going to have a massive impact on bottom line down the road or even immediately.
Absolutely. And I can tell you for myself, I'm different than, I mean, they're at this point, we're the longest running call center that's out there for the moving industry. Nobody has been around as long as us.
It's awesome.
But one of the bigger things too is that none of my competitors, the owners of these companies, none of them are still on the phone like I am.
Mm,
And I do it by choice, not because I have to. I do it by choice because I'm able to put up the numbers that I'm able to put up. And I'm able to talk to my sales reps as not just their boss, but somebody that's putting up the numbers that I
that's
can
right.
say to them, look, if you do it this way, this way, and this way, you're going to be where I am. And I'm at the top of that board every
That's
single
so
month.
good.
I have very good salespeople. They're very good. But at the same time, so am I. So it's much easier for me to speak the same language with my salespeople versus just being somebody that's, yeah, I own the company, but anytime you're a moving company owner or whatever, you're talking to one of my managers, you're not talking to me. So
Mm,
it's kind of I believe that what that does is it does create a disconnect, and you do miss things. Yeah, I mean, can you bullshit your way through a situation like that? Sure. But
yeah.
if you're actually on the phone, you can actually say, look, this is why this is not happening for you, or this is why it is happening for you. And I'm telling you this because I'm on the phone and I can hear what's working and what's not working.
Mm,
I can tell you that just because you spent money on advertising, for example, that doesn't mean that every single call that I get or every single lead that pops for your website is going to be a sale.
hmm.
Like, for example, I have a client that's a long distance mover and their focus is long distance moving. But a lot of the leads that they're getting through their whatever their marketing source is, I don't have that privy to that. So they have somebody that works on their marketing on their lead gen or whatever, right? But what I can tell you firsthand is that more than 50% of the leads that they're getting are local leads that are
Right.
in either the area that they're based or in the areas that they're passing through. But the problem is this. First of all, a lot of those leads that are coming in are one bedroom apartments. And this is a long distance company. So
Mm,
they don't want to do these jobs for $500. They want to
no.
make at least they want at least each one of these jobs they want at least 1,500. So if it's a one bedroom studio, two bedroom, these guys for a local area, let's say it's a move Chicago to Chicago or Missouri to Missouri or whatever, Ohio to Ohio, right? For something that's a small one bedroom, two bedroom, they want to spend under 1,000. They want to spend somewhere between probably 400 and $800.
Hmm.
So this company is automatically out on those moves. And no matter how much I keep telling them, say, look, you guys need to either focus specifically on people that are, if you're going to do locals that are three bedrooms and up, and limit the area where you go, keep it closer to where you're actually based, not where you're passing through. That way you're not gonna have to compete quite as hard because your expenses to pick up that job are not going to be quite as high. That's one thing, right? And then as far as long distance goes, I mean, yeah, okay, long distance you can do whatever, but for local stuff, you don't want to see one bedrooms and two bedrooms if you're the minimum that you need to have as an estimate out there for this tiny little job is $1,500. If that's what you're doing, you're already taking it out. And frankly, when half of the leads that you're sending me are just like that, there's
Mm,
nothing I can do with them. What I mean, literally, what I'm forced to do is I'm forced to tell the client once if I get them on the phone, which I don't, so that raises my other question as to where those leads are coming from. I'm very curious to know because usually when it's a generation like that, when they're coming straight to you, you're reaching them a lot better than what I'm reaching. I'm lucky
mhm.
if I'm reaching them 10% of the time. So that tells me that whoever's generating those leads from them, they're getting it probably from a lead provider source and then routing it to their website. And it looks
Mhm.
like they're getting leads, but the leads are crap because I'm not
Mhm.
reaching them. Usually when people are contacting you, if you call them, the lead comes in and you contact them right away, usually they respond right away. This is not the case here, which
Right.
leads me to question their generators and where those leads are coming from. And I've mentioned that multiple times, but unfortunately, they haven't heeded my plea because I feel like I'm wasting their time, I'm wasting their money, my time, and it feels that way because at the end of the day, I want to produce, I want to be able to book jobs. But if you're not giving me, uh, let's call it opportunity, if you're not giving me a legit opportunity, there's only so much I can do with it.
Man, that's so interesting. So the lead broker thing is so fascinating to me because you've got people wasting money on these lead brokers and they're not even building a system to self-generate.
Mm,
And that's where I think this whole opportunity is. It's not like hire an agency because, you don't want to do it yourself. What I think is actually a smarter way to look at this, or maybe a more longer term way to look at this, is I am building a self-generating lead
right.
engine and I
Yes.
am in control of my lead flow. I dial it up, I dial it back, pending whatever the season I'm in. And what a feeling to be able to control how much business comes into the company. And this is another thing that I want to like speak into like the people that are listening to this is like don't look at every dollar that you spend as advertising either as like it either, it was a waste or it was perfect or it was a waste or it worked. Like, and I understand cash on cash return. I understand return on ad spend 100%. But one thing that we do a little bit differently at 310 is we look at every single dollar that we're spending as this is data. And what is the data telling us about this specific market? Prime example, had a guy that was in Chicago. Yesterday we were talking to, he's like, dude, I do not want these inner city to inner city moves, or city to city moves, as I think is specifically what he called them. He's like, I am looking for the stuff for longer distance, suburbs, large houses, 3 bedroom. And it's like, obviously. And so this is what something just kind of like tactical like, game that your listeners can take away and apply, or at least tell your agency that you're working with is ask your agency what psychographic, demographic, and geographic language are we utilizing in our advertising copy and our videos, because that content is actually going to actually trigger the algorithm to determine what content is shown to who. For instance, Meta, largely in July of 2025, have you heard about this update called the Andromeda update at all, Yuri? Excuse me.
Yes.
Okay, so the Andromeda update hit, and just for the listeners that had never heard of this, July of 2025, targeting on Meta ads changed forever. So Facebook and Instagram, all owned by Meta, the targeting completely changed in the ad platform. And with this Andromeda update shift, now what they are doing, even more than ever, like they've upgraded their ability to do this, is they're scraping every single frame of your video. They're scraping all the on-screen text. They're scraping all of the audio transcripts from every single video. They're scraping the actual copy that you are writing inside of the primary text and headline. They're scraping all of it. And what they're doing is they're actually putting together a profile, like a packet, and they're saying, who inside of our ecosystem would actually match the desires of this? Oh, and by the way, Meta not only has access to your photos, so they can see if you're if you're when you're moving, you probably have a very specific pattern that they've recognized over again millions or billions now of people when they're moving. So Meta has access to your photos. They have access to your face. So when you have facial recognition, you're giving Meta access to that. They can literally see when you're smiling or frowning when you see a piece of content. So they literally know down to the physiological level whether or not you prefer or do not prefer a certain type of content. They know when you share it with your wife. They know when you share it with your buddies in a group chat and a DM on Instagram. They see it all. And so what I call all this stuff, and what Meta calls it, is called a context window. And so now Meta has this insane context window on every single person. And so when you put out in your copy, so for me, are you a West Omaha mom who's looking to move XYZ? Or speaking to, you just dropped your kids off at Kiewit Middle School and you're thinking it's time to move into a bigger house. Like imagine like the specificity of that, right? That you're in this person's head. You're psychographically getting into their world and saying, and let's say that her name is Susie. What is Susie thinking right now? What are the pains and problems that she's dealing with? Where does she want to end up? What part of Omaha does she want to end up in? Or what part of the city does she want to end up in? Where are they looking at homes? Okay, so you're looking at that brand new development out in Gretna and you're thinking, and like just like that alone, brand new development, you have money and you're thinking of building money. You're now talking to a higher target like demographic who's going to have like a larger move, right? And so this is the sort of stuff that's going through my mind when I'm writing copy for all of our moving clients and their advertising, or when we're on set with them. One thing that kind of sets us apart is we actually will come out and film content with our clients. So we literally come out to you and we film with you to create specific content that will target those individuals. And this is something, by the way, like we obviously have this as an agency service, but I'm sharing this with your listeners because you guys can do this with your iPhone. One of the greatest things that you could do right now, like just some serious free game after analyzing. So I've personally spent $500,000 of my own money. I've spent way more than that of all of our clientele's money. I'm currently managing, just on one account, we're managing $45,000 a month in advertising spend just on one singular ad account. And we have dozens and dozens of clients. So one thing I can personally tell you, the highest leverage activity that you can do as a mover right now is literally going to your customers right after you complete a move. And I'm talking like the people that are like, holy crap, this is the best move experience ever. Thank you so much.
Of course, because
you're not
gonna go to somebody that's unhappy.
Right. You don't want to go to the unhappy, but
No,
like
you don't
imagine
wanna do
this.
that,
You've
right?
got like a perfect target demographic person. If you're looking for a very specific individual in a specific part of your city, and you ask them, hey, Sarah, would you mind if we actually have one of our guys interview you about your moving experience and just ask you a few questions, film it. We will likely run an ad, so we'll need your permission to do that, and we'll send you an email for confirmation. Would you be willing to actually share your experience so we could share it and find more people like you online? You'd be amazed, Yuri, at the amount of people who would see, oh my gosh, yeah, tell me, yeah, I'll do it. Not to mention, if you move a realtor, more free game. If you guys move a realtor,
Yeah.
they have friends, they have clients, and they're always looking to set up their clients with great people. So if you move the
And
top
of
realtor
course,
in the
they're always
city,
looking for a discounted move.
always, man. Yeah, always. And they always want to like say, oh, well, I've got this discount with this moving company, right? But
Mm,
I'm telling you, I just looked at an ad account yesterday, was analyzing. We're trying to beat the controls of one of our top clients, the people we're spending 45 grand a month for. I'm trying to beat their controls, trying to get their cost per lead down, cost per appointment, and ultimately, cost per acquisition, all those numbers, trying to get them to come down. And I'm telling you, we launched an isolated creative split test. Literally, the thing that's outperforming everything is a side. They're standing beside the moving truck. It looks like it's like a highway situation, but it's not. It's just kind of a busier like interior road. And it's just the guy like with an iPhone and some on-screen Instagram text, like saying, "Hey, what did you think about your moving experience, dude?" $16 leads. $16 leads just on that alone. Like, and if you guys, if your lead to closes, let's say that your lead to close is 10%. That means for every one lead that comes in, you're closing, or excuse me, for every 10 leads that come in, you're closing one of them. That's $160 customer acquisition cost. And if that turns into at least an $1,100 or $1,200 move, that is a 10x return on ad spend. So like just do that math a little bit and you realize, wait a second, the highest leverage activity I can do is just interviewing people about their moving experience and then running it as ads on Meta. And if you don't know how to do that, hire us. But like you can do this just with your iPhone. Like get Hollyland microphones from Amazon. The brand Hollyland is amazing. Get Hollyland mics from Amazon and literally stick one on you and stick one on your customer or have your guys like interview and plug it into the bottom of your iPhone and watch it print money.
yeah, no, that's awesome. There's a lot of definitely good things here that Landon's talking about. So, guys, check it out. We're gonna make sure we have links to his stuff here. Please like, please subscribe, and of course, we can continue talking about that. But I want you to come back, and I want you to keep the mystery here, right, and the
Yeah.
excitement here. So, reach out to Landon, see what Landon can do for you. And once again, thank you very much for joining us, Landon. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for all the information. Those are nuggets of information that all of us can certainly use.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. And like I always say, the world moves on its own, so let the professionals move yours for you. Thank you for joining
Awesome.
us, and we'll talk again soon.